Hello everyone, in this video I will explain all about the directive principles of state policy under the Indian Constitution. These all points are covered under this video. First, introduction. Second, what is directive principles of state policy. Third, purpose. While making the directive principles of state policy, what was the aim behind it? Fourth, salient features of the directive principles of state policy. Fifth, DPSP under the Indian Constitution. It covers under the articles 36 to 51, and lastly the conclusion. Introduction. The directive principles of state policy in the Indian Constitution is an essential framework guiding the state towards the welfare of its citizens. So in simple words, we can say that the directive principles of state policy are guidelines or principles which is laid down in the Indian Constitution to direct the state in its policy making and governance. It has been taken from the Irish Constitution, Part 4, Article 36 to 51 of the Indian Constitution deals with it. It includes principles such as equal pay for equal work, promoting the welfare of the children, ensuring the right to work, etc. Unlike fundamental rights, which are enforceable in courts, directive principles of state policy are not legally enforceable but are considered fundamental in the governance of the country. For example, fundamental rights such as the right to equality, freedom of speech, and right to life are protected by law and can be upheld through legal proceedings. Citizens can approach the courts if their fundamental rights are violated. But directive principles of state policy provide guiding principles for governance, outlining the socio-economic objectives and goals for the state to pursue. They reflect the moral and political aspirations of the constitution but cannot be legally enforced in courts. So in simple words, we can say that fundamental rights ensure individual liberties and protection, while directive principle of state policy lay down the framework for just and equitable society, guiding the government's action towards the welfare of its citizens. Now the question is, what is directive principles of state policy? So the directive principles of state policy are a crucial component of the Indian Constitution. These principles are the guidelines for the central and state government. When they make laws and policies, they should keep in mind these principles. These principles encompasses a wide range of socio-economic and political ideals aimed at achieving socio-economic justice and laying the groundwork for a modern welfare state. So basically these principles addresses fundamental issues such as poverty, education, healthcare, environmental protection and promoting equal opportunities for all citizens. Purpose of the directive principles of state policy. So what is the aim behind while making the directive principles of state policy? So the primary aim of the directive principles of state policy is the state welfare. Secondly, it provides a roadmap for the government, guiding policymakers in making laws and policies that prioritize the welfare of the state and its citizens. Thirdly, it aims to establish social and economic justice, ensuring that every individual has access to basic necessities and opportunities for growth and development. Fourthly, they also strive to promote equality among all citizens, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, or socioeconomic status, fostering a society where everyone can thrive and prosper. So in essence, we can say that the the purpose of the directive principle of state policy is to lay the foundation for a future where justice, equality, and the well-being of citizens are not merely aspirations goals but tangible, everyday realities experienced by all members of the society. Salient features of directive principles of state policy. So these 8 points are the key features of the directive principles of state policy. First, non-justiciable nature. It means that directive principles of state policy are not enforceable by courts. They only serve as guidelines for the government rather than legally binding obligation. Second, social and economic goals. It means that directive principle of state policy focus on achieving social and economic justice by addressing issues such as poverty, inequality, and access to resources like education and healthcare. Third, transformative. It means they aim to transform society by promoting the welfare of marginalized sections, eliminating social inequalities, and fostering a more just social order. Fourth, comprehensive. It means directive principle of state policy cover a wide range of areas including education, health, employment, agriculture, environmental protection, and other holistic approach to governance. Balancing individual rights. It means while fundamental right emphasize individual liberties, but directive principle of state policy seek to strike a balance between individual rights and the collective welfare of the society, ensuring that the rights of all citizens are protected. Idealistic vision. It means directive principle of state policy embody lofty ideals and long-term goals that may not be immediately achievable but serve as a roadmap for future development, guiding the nation towards an aspirational vision. Advisory role. It means that directive principle of state policy guide the state in formulating policies and laws, providing a direction to the government on how to promote the well-being of citizens and create a just society. Last है amendable. It means that while fundamental principles remain constant, but directive principle of state policy can be amended or modified by parliament through constitutional amendments to reflect changing societal needs and prioritize ensuring their relevance over time. Directive principles of state policy under the Indian Constitution. So the directive principles of state policy as mentioned in articles 36 to 51 in part 4th of the Indian Constitution. So let's start with article 36. Article 36 talks about the definition of state. So as per article 36, the term state in part 4 directive principles of state policy has the same meaning as in part 3rd fundamental rights. To understand the definition of state, let's refer to Article 12, which defines the term state. According to Article 12, the term state includes various entities. The first category includes the legislative and executive organs of the union government. This includes the central government, the parliament consisting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Moving on to the second category, we have the legislative and executive organs of the state government. This includes state government, state legislature, Vidhan Parishad and Vidhan Sabha. Next, we have local authorities which play a significant role in governance at the grassroots level. This includes municipalities such as municipal corporation, Nagar Panchayat and Nagar Palikas. Panchayats including Gram Panchayat, Jila Panchayat, district boards and local trust. Next, we have other authorities which are further divided into statutory authorities and non-statutory authorities. Statutory authorities include institutions such as National Human Rights Commission, National Commission for Women, and various tribunals and commissions. Non-statutory authorities include the Central Bureau of Investigation and Lokpal and among others. Lastly, any other body or authority within the territory of India or under the control of the government of India. So when we talk about the state in the context of directive principles of state policy, we refer to these entities outlined in Article 12 of the Indian Constitution. Article 37 talks about the application of the principles contained in this part. So this article holds significant importance in understanding the nature of directive principles of state policy in our constitutional framework. Article 37 states that the provisions contained in Part 4 of the Constitution, which includes directive principle of state policy, shall not be enforceable by any court. It emphasizes that it shall be the duty of the state to apply these principles in making laws. So basically, Article 37 says to the government that you don't have to follow directive principle of state policy like strict laws, but seriously, please pay attention to them when you are making laws. Now, classifications of directive principles of state policy. Directive principles of state policy are usually classified into three categories. The first category include socialistic principle. It aims to achieve social and economic justice by reducing inequalities and ensuring the welfare of all citizens. Examples like promoting equal pay for equal work, securing the right to work, etc. In socialistic principle, articles include 38, Article 39, 39A, 41, 42, 43, 43A and 47. Second आता है गांधीनियन principle inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of Sarvodaya or the welfare of all. These principles emphasize decentralization, governance and rural development. In this principle, articles include 40, 43A, 43B, 46, 47 and 48. Third आता है liberal intellectual principle. It includes, it focuses on individual rights, freedoms and the promotion of a pluralistic society. It includes articles 44, 45, 48, 48A, 49, 50 and 51. Socialistic principle. So, socialistic principle aims to create a society where resources are collectively owned, wealth is distributed equitably, and social welfare is prioritized, thereby reducing inequalities and promoting the well-being of all citizens. So this is the socialistic principle. Now come to Article 38. So according to the categorization of above three principles, Article 38 comes under socialistic principle. This means this article is about social and economic welfare. Now let's see what actually Article 38 talks about. Article 38 talks about the state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. To understand better, let's break it down in easily. Now, to whom is Article 38 talking? Article 38 is talking to a state and tells the state to secure social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. Now, second point is that minimize inequalities in income, status, facilities and opportunities. This means that ensuring fair wages, equal access to resources and creating an environment where everyone has the chance to succeed. In essence, we can say that it's about building a society where no one is left behind. Article 39. This article talks about certain principles of policy to be followed by the state. This means the state and all the authorities which comes under the definition of state have to follow certain principles while making any policy for the welfare of the citizens. Now, what are those principles? Those principles has defined under Article 39 in 6 different clauses. Let us understand all the clauses one by one in detail. The first clause says, right to adequate means of livelihood for all citizens. It means every person should have the opportunity to earn enough to live a decent life. It ensures everyone can find work or earn money to support themselves and their families. Second clause says equitable distribution of resources of the community for the common good. So it means resources like land, water and other assets should be shared fairly among all members of society. This ensures that everyone has access to the things they need to live well and that no one group has too much while others have too little. Third clause says prevention of concentration of wealth and means of production. This means wealth and control over important resources like factories and land should not be held by only a few rich people or companies. This prevents a small group from having too much power and influence over others and helps spread opportunities more evenly. Fourth clause says equal pay for equal work for men and women. This means men and women should receive the same pay for doing the same job. It's about fairness and ensuring that gender doesn't determine how much someone gets paid for their work. Fifth clause says preservation of health and strength of workers against abuse. This means workers should be treated fairly and not be forced to work in dangerous or unhealthy conditions. This protects people from being exploited or harmed while they are working to earn a living. Sixth clause says opportunity for healthy development of children. This means children should have access to things like education, healthcare, and a safe environment to grow up in. This ensures that every child has the chance to reach their full potential and lead a happy, healthy life. Now comes to Article 39A. Article 39A talks about equal justice and free legal aid. This article was inserted into the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment Act 1976, which aimed to expand the scope of social justice and welfare provisions. This article says that it is the duty of the state to ensure that opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen by reason of economic or other disabilities. This means, for example, if a person is poor, he is not able to hire an advocate for legal prosecution, then it is the duty of the state to provide an advocate to that person for securing justice. Article 41. Article 41 talks about right to work, to education and to public assistance in certain cases. Now, Article 41 says that the government has a duty to make sure everyone has the opportunity to work, get an education and receive help when they need. Uh, Now, first, right to work. This means the government should try to create jobs so that everyone who wants to work can find a job. It's important because having a job allows people to earn money to support themselves and their families. Next, there is a right to education. This means that every child should have the chance to go to school and learn. Education is super important because it helps people gain knowledge and skills that they can use throughout their lives. Last talks about public assistance. This means that the government should help people who are struggling, like if they are sick, old or unable to work. Public assistance could include things like healthcare, pensions for elderly citizens and support for people who are unemployed. The importance of Article 41 and its impact on society. So why it is important? It's all about making sure that everyone has a fair chance in life by providing opportunities for work, education and assistance to those in need. The government helps create a more equal and prosperous society. Now there is a one landmark case named Olega Talis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation 1985. The fact of the case is that there was a lady whose name is Olega Talis who lived in Mumbai. She and many others didn't have proper homes and they lived on the streets. The government wanted to tear down their makeshift homes, but Olega and the friends didn't want to lose their home. They went to court and said that everyone has the right to a home and job, just uh, just like it says in the Constitution. So the Supreme Court held that in this case that the right to livelihood is a fundamental right under Article 21, right to life of the Constitution, and the state has the duty to provide for adequate means of livelihood to its citizens. Now Article 42. Article 42 talks about provision for just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. This article comes under socialistic principle. Now, general meaning of humane is showing kindness, sympathy or understanding, especially to a person or animal that is suffering. Article 42 says that the states shall make provision for securing just and human condition of work for maternity relief. This simply means that it is the duty of the state. It is the duty of the state to make provisions or schemes for securing mainly two things. Number one, for just and human condition of work, and number two, for maternity relief. For just and human conditions of work means giving favorable condition and equal opportunity for every worker. Maternity relief means providing benefits to women who are carrying child. So with this article, Constitution has guided state to make provisions for the betterment of these two categories of people. Now there are some provisions related to ensuring just and human condition of work and maternity relief. For example, the Factories Act 1948, the Maternity Benefit Act 1981, and etc. Article 43. Article 43 talks about living wage for workers. It says that the government has a duty to make sure workers get paid enough to live on and have good working conditions. That means they shouldn't be paid too little and they should have safe and healthy places to work. For example, you have a job but you don't get paid enough to buy food or take care of your family. That's not fair, right? So Article 43 imposes duty on the government should make sure workers get paid to enough money to live a decent life. Now imagine working in a place that's really dirty or dangerous. That's not safe. So Article 43 says the government should make sure workplaces are safe and healthy for everyone. Second point of Article 43 says promote cottage industries. This point is based on Gandhian principle. It talk about promoting cottage industries in rural areas. These are small businesses run by local people like making handicrafts or farming. By supporting these businesses, the government can create more jobs and help people in rural areas earn a living. So Article 43 is all about fairness for workers. Now Article 43. Article 43 talks about participation of workers in management of industries. This article was added by 42nd Constitution Amendment of 1976. It says that workers should have the right to be involved in making decisions about their workplaces. This means they should have a say in how things are done, like how work is organized, how resources are used, and how problems are solved. Now, it says you should have the chance to share your ideas and opinions with the people who make decisions about your work. By letting workers be part of the decision-making process, it makes workplaces better for everyone. Now, it also encourages cooperations between workers and bosses. So, Article 43A is all about making sure workers have a say in how their workplaces are run. It reminds us that everyone's opinion matters, and by working together, we can create better and more successful workplaces. Now, Article 47. Article 47 talks about duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living and to improve public health. It says that the government should try to stop people from drinking alcohol and using drugs that can harm their health. But if someone needs these drugs for medical reasons, they can still use them. So why does the government want to do this? Well, it's because they want everyone to be healthy. Now, By stopping people from drinking too much alcohol or using harmful drugs, the government can protect people's health. So overall, Article 47 reminds us that the government cares about our health and wants to keep us safe. By working together and following these rules, we can all stay healthy and happy. Gandhian principles. This principles inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's ideal. This principle aim to establish a society based on the principles of truth, non-violence and welfare of all individuals, especially the rural and marginalized communities. Articles based on these principles are Article 43, Article 43B, 46, 47 and 48. Now Article 40. Article 40 talks about organization of village panchayats. It's about village communities and their role in decision making. Article 40 says that the government should set up local councils called panchayats in villages. These panchayats are like community councils made up of people who live in the village. So what do these panchayats do? Well, they help the people in the village make decisions about things that affect their lives, like building roads, schools and health centers. It's kind of like a having a mini government right in your own village. By having these panchayats, people in villages can have a say in what happens in their community. They can talk about what they need and want and work together to make their village a better place to live. So basically, Article 40 is all about giving power to the people instead of big decisions being made far away in the city. The people who actually live in the village get to decide what's best for them. It's about democracy in action. Now Article 43B. Article 43B talks about promotion of cooperative societies. This article was added by 97th Constitutional Amendment Act 2011. This article says that the state shall endeavor to promote voluntary formation, autonomous functioning, democratic control and professional management of cooperative societies. Before simplifying this statement, you must know that what exactly cooperative society is. In simple words, a cooperative society is an organization run by the people and for the people of same class who come together with the intention to fulfill their economic and social and cultural needs. This is kind of providing mutual help to each other. So the main aim of creating cooperative society is helping each member and working towards their welfare. Now, so according to this article, it is the duty of the state to promote cooperative societies, which are formed by one's own choice, self-governed. Democratically controlled means members of the cooperative society will elect their representative and which are professionally managed. So a state will promote such cooperative society. Article 46. Article 46 talks about promotion of educational and economic interest of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. So this article says that the government should do some special things to help certain groups of people. These are groups that have faced a lot of challenges because of their background or where they come from. So who are these groups? These groups called scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections of society. These are people who might not have had the same opportunities as others and they might need some extra support to succeed. So this article says that the government should help these groups by doing two big things. So first, they should make sure everyone gets a good education. That means schools should be available and accessible to everyone, no matter where they live or what their background is. Second thing is that the government should help people from these groups find jobs and earn money. This is really important because having a job can help people support themselves and their families, and it gives them a chance to build a better future. Now comes to Article 48. Article 48 talks about organization of agricultural and animal husbandry. First part of Article 48 comes under the liberal intellectual principle, and second part of Article 48 comes under the Gandhian principle. So basically this article emphasizes the state's responsibility to protect cows and calves from slaughter and to promote animal husbandry practices. So why is cow protection important? So cows hold cultural and religious significance in India, and many people consider them scared. Article 48 recognizes this and directs the government to safeguard cows and calves from being slaughtered. Additionally, this article encourages the improvement of animal husbandry practices. This includes breeding and raising cows and other livestock in a healthy and sustainable manner. Protecting cows and promoting animal husbandry is not only about respecting cultural beliefs, but also about ensuring food security and sustainable agriculture. Cows provide milk, for example, cows provide milk and other dairy products, while livestock farming contributes to the economy and provides livelihood for many people. So overall, Article 48 reflects the government's commitment to protecting cows, preserving cultural values, and promoting sustainable animal husbandry practices. Liberal intellectual principle. So this principle reflects the ideology of liberalism. Under this principle, articles based on 44, 45, 48, 48A, 49, 50 and 15. So now Article 44. Article 44 talks about uniform civil code for the citizens. So it says that the government should try to make a set of common laws for everyone in the country, regardless of their region. So what's a uniform civil code? It's like having the same rules for everyone when it comes to things like marriage, divorce, inheritance and adoption. Right now, different religious communities have their own laws for these things. So Article 44 says that having a common set of laws can help promote unity and equality among people of different religions. It can also simplify things and make the legal system fairer for everyone. By implementing a uniform civil code, the government can ensure that everyone is treated equally under the law, regardless of their religion background. It can also help modernize and streamline the legal system, making it more efficient and accessible to all citizens. So overall, Article 44 provide importance equally and unity in a diverse country like India. By working towards a uniform civil code, the government can help create a more just and harmonious society for everyone. Now Article 45. Article 45 talks about provision for early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. This article says that the government should provide free and compulsory education to all children until they reach a certain age. So what does that mean? Well, it means that every child has the right to go to school and learn, and the government has to make sure that happens. And the best part, it's free. That means parents don't have to pay any money for their children to go to school. Why is this so important? Because education is the key to unlocking opportunities and building a better future. When children go to school, they learn new things, develop important skills, and become better prepared to succeed in life. So Article 45 is all about ensuring that every child, regardless of their background or circumstances, has access to quality education by providing free and compulsory education. The government can help break the cycle of poverty empower communities, and build a more educated and prosperous society. Article 48A. Article 48A talks about protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forest and wildlife. It was added by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. This article says that the government should protect and improve the environment and safeguard forest and wildlife. So what does that mean? It means that the government has a responsibility to take care of our environment like our forests, rivers and wildlife. They should make sure these things are protected and keep safe for us and for future generations. Why is this so important? Because our environment gives us so many things. We need to live, like clear air, water and food. When we take care of the environment, we are also taking care of ourselves and our planet. So Article 48 is all about making sure we live in harmony with nature. By protecting and improving the environment, the government can help create a healthier and more sustainable future for all of us. Now come to Article 49. Article 49 talks about protection of monuments and places and objects of national importance. This article says that government should protect and preserve monuments, places and objects that are of national importance for our country's heritage and history. So what does that mean? It means that the government has a duty to take care of special places and things that are part of our country's rich cultural heritage, like historical building, ancient sites and valuable artifacts. They should make sure these treasures are kept safe and preserved for future generations to enjoy and learn from. So these monuments, places and objects tells the story of our past and help us understand who we are as a nation. By protecting them, we are also protecting our identity and preserving our cultural heritage for the future. So Article 49 is all about cherishing and safeguarding our cultural treasures. By protecting monuments and objects of national importance, the government can ensure that they remain a source of pride and inspiration for generations to come. Article 50. Article 50 talks about separation of judiciary from executive. So this article says that the state should ensure the separation of judiciary from the executive in public services. So what does that mean? It means that there should be a clear distinction between the people who make and enforce law, that is the executive, and the people who interpret and apply those laws, that is the judiciary. They should work independently of each other because it helps ensure that the government is fair and accountable. When the judiciary is separate from the executive, it can make decisions based on the law without any influence from the government. So Article 50 is all about protecting the rule of law and upholding justice by ensuring the separation of judiciary and executive. The government can prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful and violating people's rights. So basically Article 50 reminds us the importance of keeping the different branches of government separate. Now comes to Article 51. Article 51 talks about promotion of international peace and security. This article says that India shall promote international peace and security and maintain just and honorable relations between nations. So what does that mean? It means that India should work towards making the world a safer and more peaceful place. It involves building good relationships with other countries and working together to solve problems peacefully. When countries get along and cooperate, it helps prevent conflict and ensures that people everywhere can live in peace and security. So basically it all about being a good global citizen and playing a positive role in the international community. By promoting peace and security, India can contribute to a better world for everyone. Conclusion of Directive Principles of State Policy. Directive principle of state policies were mentioned in Article 36 to 51 of the Indian Constitution. They are like guidelines for the government in India to make sure everyone is treated fairly and has opportunities to do well, even though they are not strict laws, but they help in shaping the decisions that leaders make to create a better country for everyone.